Good morning, everyone. Welcome to KidsPoint. I'm glad you're here. Happy January. I know that this is a brand new month, a brand new year. We feel like, hey, we're going to get things started. We're going to kick our year off good. We're going to go back to school this week and we're going to have a good time. We're going to be really well behaved or something like that. I don't know what your resolution was. My resolution this year is that I just want to be able to touch my toes. Like, some of you think that's silly. This is all the farther I can get. So all year, I'm going to practice. And I'm going to try to touch my toes. But you know what? I have to have self-control. I have to have some self-control to be able to do that, because self-control helps me not only, hey, remember to actually stretch every day. I have to have self-control, which is choosing to do what you should even when you don't want to. Do I want to stretch every day? No. Should I? Yeah, if I want to touch my toes, I have to have self-control. When I'm at school and my teacher is talking, but I have to tell my friend this really cool thing I got at Christmas, I know I shouldn't talk to my friend, but I really want to, even though the teacher's talking. Or if I'm at the grocery store and my mom said that I wasn't allowed to get that kind of cereal that I really wanted, and I know I should just let it go and be okay with that and be content, but I just really want that cereal, and so maybe I'm going to complain the entire time, even though I know I shouldn't. But I have to have self-control. So that's why we're going to kick off the year with self-control, because these are things that even though now as a kid, you guys are maybe learning for the first time and practicing for the first time, by the time you get to my age, they're really important. So let's think about it. A baby doesn't have much self-control.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you ever sit in big church, you might see like a 1-year-old standing on the back of the pew, or standing on the pew looking backwards going, and it's super cute. But as it gets older, obviously it's mom and dad, and they say things like, hey, we have to sit down during church, you can't do that. What if no one ever said that, and they never had self-control, and they were as big as I was, a 30-year-old, standing on the back of the pew during when Pastor Steve was preaching going, no one would think that was cute. Everyone would be like, what's wrong with that guy? He just needs to sit around and sit down. That's not what he should be doing. Oh. Or if I sat down in the middle, like after they stopped doing that, when you guys are a little bit older, and maybe some of you do this, you like sneak down in between the pews and like you play with cars on the top of the pew. Like, that's okay. You're learning. But what if I did it? What if I like got out of my seat and had cars that was going, everybody would be like, what's wrong with that guy? You have to have self-control. So even though we're practicing it now, these are things that we want to make sure we can continue to do. That way, by the time you're my age, you have some self-control. And the Bible talks about self-control in a number of different ways. There was a guy in the Bible that wrote a book called Proverbs. His name was Solomon. Proverbs means like wisdom. It's a wisdom book, the book of wisdom. And the reason is because Solomon was known as one of the wisest people to ever live, ever on earth. He always made the right choice. He always made, or wanted to make, if he really thought about it, he'd always make the right choice. Always make the wise choice. And so Solomon wrote down his wisdom. He wrote down his things that, these are the things I want to remember. And one of the things he said was this. In Proverbs, he said, a man with no control is like a city whose walls been breached. Now, those are weird words that maybe some of us don't understand. But let me show you the next picture here. This is a fortress wall. Most of you, if you love castles and princesses and knights and dragons, like you've probably seen castle walls, this is nothing new to you. And we know the reason for a castle wall is to keep people out. You have to keep people out. Bad guys didn't have airplanes and blimps and hot air balloons and drones that they could fly over the wall and attack the enemy. The enemy, like they would bring a ladder, but if there was people on top pushing the ladder over, they didn't get very far. If their door was giant and sealed and made of like iron, they weren't going to break through with like punching it a bunch or hitting it with their axe. No, they needed ways to get over the wall. Because if you have a wall around your city, you are strong. And that's what Solomon's talking about with self-control. If a person has a lot of self-control, they're like a city whose walls are strong. But a person with no control is like a city whose walls been breached. A giant hole. You see, enemies they learned about these things called catapults. And catapults were able to throw ginormous rocks or flaming bombs at the enemy walls. And when it would hit, eventually it would put a giant hole in the wall. And so what the enemy army started to do is they would wait. And they would throw catapult. And as soon as there was a breach in the wall, the enemies would run through the hole. Kind of like when a dam at a river breaks. All the water's held back, but then there's a little bit of a break. And the water just goes whoosh. And it just goes through the whole thing. So, Solomon is saying, someone with no self-control is like someone whose life has a giant hole in it. Letting trouble in. For example, if we go back to the examples that we had before, if you're at the grocery store and your mom says no to a type of cereal you want, but you continue to go, I want it, you know what's going to happen. You're about to get in some trouble. You know it. You know complaining is not going to do anything except get you in trouble, but sometimes we just can't help ourselves. We just have no control. We just have to complain. And I bet if I was in church right now, and Pastor Aaron, I think, is the one who's speaking today, and I stood on a pew and I went, I'm pretty sure Pastor Aaron would start yelling at me from the stage in front of all the grown-ups. I know I'm going to get in trouble if I stand on a pew as a 30-year-old and start jumping in the middle of church. I know it. But if I have no control, I can't help myself. Now, we don't have city walls around America. That'd be giant. We don't have a city wall around Brookings. We don't do city walls anymore. The closest we have to a city wall is maybe your family has a fence around the yard that you can still kind of see through and see over. All right? But there's just some examples that I think we will know about a little better than a city wall. So, first clip. Violence from the Incredibles.
So obsessed with being undervalued that I undervalued all of you. Caught up in the past that I...
So, Violet's ability is force field. We know it's force field because we can see. And the force field protects her from things. Obviously, she's like this, she has no muscles. And if she tried to actually punch someone with her hand, she'd probably break it. But when she uses her force field, she can protect others, she can protect herself, she can beat up bad guys. But imagine Violet turned on her force field one day, and there's a giant hole right in the middle. And no matter how many times she turned her force field on, bubble around me, there was just a giant hole in the middle. Do you think she would dive in front of someone shooting guns and bullets like she did for her brother? Ah! No, because there's a giant hole in it. That would be insane. You don't jump in front of there if your shield looks like Swiss cheese. You would become Swiss cheese. Yeah. You want to make sure that force field's all the way there. And she was able to protect others with that force field. We don't, if there was a hole in that force field, she would be asking for a lot of trouble that could get in to that force field. Someone else who relies very heavily on a shield to shield himself and others is this guy, one of my favorite
Carbon
heroes.
polymer.
Captain America.
Could withstand your average German bayonet, although Hydra's not going to attack you with a pocket knife. I hear you're kind of attached.
It's handier than you might think.
I took the liberty of coming up with some options. This one's fun. She's been fitted with electrical relays that allow you
What
to...
about this one?
No, that's just a prototype.
What's it made of?
Vibranium is stronger than steel and a third the weight. It's completely vibration absorbent.
How come it's not a standard issue?
That's the rarest metal on Earth. What you're holding there, that's all we've got.
You quite finished, Mr. Stark? I'm sure the captain has some unfinished business.
What do you think?
Yes, I think it works.
So, imagine the surprise of everybody in the room if his shield didn't work. Oh, oops, sorry. I just shot Captain America. Oh. No, everybody was trusting that shield, and so was Captain America. That's why he ducked behind it. And I watch a lot of his cartoons, and I read his comic books, and I watch the movies, and his shield is like part of him. You don't really see Captain America very often without his shield. That would be like seeing Captain America without his arm. He always has his shield, and he protects himself from blasts, from bombs, and he hits missiles, and he blocks laser guns, and Thor even tried to hit him with his hammer, and he was able to block it with his shield. Captain America relies very much on his shield to protect himself and others because it's his defense from letting bad trouble get to him. Violet uses her force field to prevent trouble from getting to her. Ancient civilizations used walls to prevent trouble from getting to them. And our big idea says this: doing what you should can keep you safe. When we practice self-control, it's going to keep you safe. Safe from not only maybe physically getting hurt, but safe from getting in trouble too. Like if you have no self-control and you see a giant jump, like I'm going to try to jump the Grand Canyon. No, don't do that, Jesse. There's no way you're going to make it. I have no self-control. I'm going to do it. Well, that's the end of Pastor Jesse because I made it all of 4 feet before I fell all the way down. But I gotta have self-control because it's going to keep me safe. But if I'm at school or I'm at church or I'm at home and I know that talking back or I know that talking while someone else is talking or I know that hitting my brother or sister or my friend at school is going to get me in trouble but I have no control and I do it anyway, I'm going to put myself in harm's way. Trouble. I got to keep myself safe. So this month, I want us to remember that we all, for our hearts, have shields, or force fields, or walls. And those things inside of our lives is called self-control. And that self-control can keep us safe from the harm of sin and hurt in the world. Our hands we fold, our heads we bow. It's time to talk to Jesus now. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for the boys and girls who are here today, God. I just pray that you are with us. God, help us all start building up in our own lives a wall, a force field, a shield that we can say, you know what, I'm going to keep myself safe. I'm going to keep myself out of harm's way. And I pray, God, that this thing helps me stay safe. When I know what I should be doing, I do it. And when I know that I shouldn't be doing something, I don't. I just stop. I get out of it. God, help us all have good self-control, especially as we go back to school tomorrow. In your name we pray. Amen. Thanks for watching our video today. If you liked what you saw, make sure you click like down below and subscribe to KidsPoint TV. Also hit that little bell icon. That way you can be notified anytime we upload a video. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.